everyone, it's Sergey with
and
Julia. Yeah, and today we're going to be going over the 5 things we disliked at our time in the Amalfi Coast. So without further ado, let's go to point number 5. So basically we went towards the late August into September, and basically it was packed. We were like a can of sardines basically. So being pushed around. So for example, in Capri, like you have to get there on the earliest ferry, and the island is absolutely popping off. Like there's people, like a wave of people everywhere you look. So, and make sure like if you do get on Capri, so that's an island. So basically, like if you're stuck on that island, you're stuck on that island for the rest of the day. So like it could be overnight. So make sure you plan ahead. Get on that bus like two stops earlier before the end of, it's time to like go back to the ferry and like to get back home, because it's honestly, that's one thing we were aware it's gonna be pretty crowded, but it's a lot more crowded than you would think. So go, like if you have any adventures, try to do them in the mornings before everybody's up and about. Yeah, some people might say, it's morning, I'm on vacation, like this is the last thing I want to do, but just trust us, go in the morning and everything will be okay.
And that leads us to point number 4, it's the bus system. So I think one of the mistakes we did is we went to Capri on a Saturday, which is the worst time to go because that's the busiest time. I remember we landed there in Capri and we wanted to go on the other side of the island called Anna Capri. But it was way too long of a wait to go on a bus, so we decided to walk to the other side of the island.
And this is going up.
Like steep, like stairs going directly up like this.
Yeah.
And we were pretty much exhausted. I remember I put on a cute skirt, I put on a nice shirt, and I'm like, I'm gonna be like taking great photos, and I ended up being like a sweaty mess by the end when I was in the other side of the island. I remember the experience there was amazing. We went and explore the area. However, when we wanted to go back to catch a ferry in Capri, we waited for a very long time to get on the bus. We could not go walk back because we had so many steps already by that time, so we needed like a transportation system to get us to the other side. And we waited for probably over like a couple hours.
Yeah. And
people were getting so frustrated behind us. People were leaving the lines really just not happy with what was going on.
And here's like another thing. Basically, like in America, we have lines. Like if we want to go on a bus, we form a simple line. In Italy, it's different. It's all for yourself. Like you gotta push and you gotta shove. If you don't make it on the bus, tough luck. But that's on you. Like you're stuck. You're stuck in the island or whatever location you're at. So like you gotta be a little pushy. Like in America, we like everything in order. We like our lines, but there, like you gotta pull out some stops you otherwise wouldn't. So, I mean,
and the way that it worked is, a bus would come, maybe like 5 people would get in, and then you wait for another bus to come in, and then maybe another 10, 15 would be able to get in, and you wait for the next bus. And I remember we were approaching our turn, and a bus comes in, and it's absolutely crammed, but somehow they were able to get Sergey and I on the bus, and we were standing there jammed, just like holding on to the rails, and just wanting to get to this ferry because we were exhausted, we want to go freshen up, we were tired, and we just wanted to get to our destination so that way we can leave on time and not get stuck on the island.
Yeah, so for instance, bus, we only went on bus twice, otherwise ferries. Like that's a tip of advice. Go on the ferries because the bus system sucks. It might be good, but it's simply like the previous point. It's too overcrowded, where you just gotta push and shove. So I've heard people, even out in October, which is technically supposed to be the low season, is still overcrowded. So stick to the ferries and everything will be good.
Yes, avoid the bus if you can.
Yeah, so this leads into point number 3, which are the roads. So everybody knows, the classic Italian roads, like super thin, really windy. Like basically 2 cars, you're like literally like inches away from hitting the opposite car. Now here's the thing, these windy roads, they're really steep, and the drivers there are absolutely aggressive, like brutal. Like you would think like if they drove like this in America, how many car crashes and how many people would be like flying off the mountains, but there somehow they don't crash. But anyways, they're like mega aggressive, super windy, they brake aggressively, and we have a little bit of a story of like what, for instance, happened to Julie. So
well, there was actually a couple instances. I remember when we went to have someone drive us to, where did we go?
yeah, so we went a little bit to the side of Sorrento because we had like a boat, like an all-day boat excursion type of thing. So,
and we get on this bus and we're in the very, very back seat, and I'm kind of in about within 20 minutes I start kind of feeling nausea, and I tell my husband like I don't feel very good, and he recommends for me to just close my eyes and just kind of lay down and just take it easy. So
turns out this was very bad advice. I mean, I didn't know.
But nothing's working. I actually feel like it's getting worse and worse and worse, and at this point my body's kind of like heaving and I'm taking deep breaths and I'm just trying to stay calm, and at this point I'm feeling like I'm about to just throw up. So I turned to my husband like, I'm gonna throw up, and he's like, just hang in there, and I'm like, no, I'm serious. I do not feel very good, and he's like, just take it, just take it. I'm like, I feel like I might need to send a friend, but he tells me to just stay strong.
Okay, she says this, and this is like literally happening like 10 seconds. The next thing you know, like I look over and some goodies some goodies come out of her mouth, and poor people in front of us, like it started like kind of going under, almost touching their feet. But anyways, we had to pull over. I slipped some euros to the driver, but anyways, we cleaned up the mess, and that wasn't the first incident, let's just say that. But that's one thing you got to be prepared to. Take your motion sickness pills or whatever you have to take, because when you look at the views, like it's sheer cliffs, like one wrong mistake and you're flying off of there, and basically you have 5 seconds to pray. So basically, do what you need, take your motion sickness pills or whatever you take. Do not underestimate the roads. So that leads us into point number 2, which is quite a surprising one. This would be the food. So
I can talk about that.
Yeah.
So we, on our very first day that we landed, we were like, we're gonna go to a Michelin restaurant. We both have never been to a Michelin restaurant, so we thought this would be a very good way to start our trip, our honeymoon. And we get there and it's absolutely beautiful. They have us seated outside where we can see the view of the sea, and they start giving us these foods, and I remember there were very small portions, and we would take a bite and it was very not as what we expected. It was actually, they gave us a lot of entrees that were very fishy, specifically mullet, which is used for bait when you're fishing. It had a very fishy taste, and I remember just thinking, wow, we're spending a lot of money, so making myself just finish this meal, and I thought maybe the next plate would be a little bit more tasty, so I kept expecting something better to come along, but with every dish it was just kind of it definitely did not meet my expectations, considering it was a 5-star restaurant, it was a Michelin star, and just feeling wow, this is not very good.
No, it sucked. That's what it was. It was dread awful. I mean, it tastes like you're eating fish that's been out in a day, out for a couple of days, and it has a strong fishy flavor to it. It was nasty. Let's just say that. And I mean, the service, the ambiance, everything was amazing. The way they treated us, the attention to detail. But the food itself, you hear go to Amalfi Coast, eat their seafood. Well, keep in mind, we tried seafood in other places in Amalfi Coast, and that was far better. Maybe it's just a bad experience we had, but I honestly, I don't know, it was kind of nasty. So we won't put out the restaurant name because we don't want to put them under the bus or anything. But just do your research ahead of time, or else you might be eating some gross stuff. Let's say that. So
I would say maybe the more family-owned restaurants is a good way to do it, because there's no hype. They're just a family that makes really good food, or like a grandma that's behind the kitchen doing what she does best, instead of really going to these super high-end luxury restaurants.
Yeah, so we went to a couple like higher, and we honestly like the mid-tier family-owned restaurants. Their food was amazing. So yeah, just do your research ahead of time, and yeah, everything will be good. So point number 1, which we didn't like, was actually the Naples airport. It's honestly super disorganized there. Like the airport itself, like you come in like to the baggage claim area and it's really old, and when you're flying back, or when like you're deciding to fly back out to back home, you have to go through, like you have to put your checked bags through, and it was honestly so disorganized. We came hours earlier, and there was nobody there, and our flight time, it's like right here, like we're running late, and there's literally a line almost like out the door, and we're just like standing there, and everybody's getting super anxious and everything, and then finally like it opens up, and there's just two like Italians just casually checking your bags, and honestly it was awful. Once you get past the check bags and you go like into the airport itself looked pretty nice, but we didn't get to enjoy everything because we had sweat on our foreheads. We were just trying to make it to our terminal, and
there was probably nobody at work during the first hour or so. There was just nobody checking our bags, so we were hoping to see somebody there, and eventually we see someone there to get us through.
Yeah, so basically that alone, that being us kind of late for the airport, it then screwed up all the other trips going back home. So we had like a layover in Zurich, Switzerland, and we thought, we're gonna go check out the Zurich's airport, have some time. But since we arrived so much later, we simply we didn't even have enough time. So it's like, first of all, we tried getting up early, didn't get to eat much, we're running late, and then we gotta go get on that airplane and go overseas back home. So it was fun. It was real fun. So
well, thank you everyone for watching. We appreciate your time. If you have the time to like and subscribe down below, please do. This is the beginnings of our channel, and we're really excited to give you more content and give you some really exciting things that are going to be coming up. So stay tuned.
Yeah, we like to travel, we like to eat, we like to do a lot of things. So basically, there's going to be a whole different array of things on our channel. So if you guys like it, we greatly appreciate it. Stay tuned for more. Yeah, see you guys. Bye. Oh my.